Secretary of State Hillary Clinton will be sitting out on Thursday's congressional hearing into the Benghazi attack. 4 Americans, including U.S. Ambassador Chris Stevens, were murdered by terrorists. But tonight, Secretary Clinton is at home recovering from a fainting spell and a concussion. Ambassador John Bolton joins us. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Any problem with the Secretary not testifying this week?
Well, I think she's going to have to testify at some point. And, you know, every Foreign Service officer in every foreign ministry in the world knows the phrase I'm about to use. When you don't want to go to a meeting or a conference or an event, you have a diplomatic illness. And this is a diplomatic illness to beat the band. I mean, I certainly hope it's nothing serious, but this was revealed in a way that I think was not transparent. And I think there's an obligation here, especially if Secretary Clinton decides to run for president, to indicate what happened. She may be testifying this week, but she's not going to escape it forever.
Well, I don't think she's indicated that she wants to, not testify ever. I will say, it has been reported prior to the concussion that she'd had the flu because she missed an overseas trip, and for a woman who's lived in an airplane for 4 years, that was unusual. She reported that she was dehydrated, and if you fall and hit your head and you get a concussion, that is a brain injury. What I find more interesting, though, is that she did say that she is going to make available the entire copy of the investigations being done that's just been completed by Ambassador Pickering and Admiral Mullen, and she didn't have to turn over the entire report, just a summary of the report. So I see that as a positive step forward because it's time that the American people find out. I do not like, though, that this is being done behind closed doors on Wednesday. I don't get that one.
Well, I think there's some aspects of the report by this Administrative Review Board that are classified and some are not. So I can understand why there'd be 2 different hearings. But I tell you this, the Secretary has stayed out of the public limelight ever since September the 11th. I think she was waiting for this report so that she could find out what it said and then fashion her testimony accordingly. Nothing more embarrassing than to say something and then have it contradicted and have to change her story later. So now she's had a chance to read the report and she can write her testimony at her leisure. And I think that is not transparent either.
Well, two questions. Did she choose Ambassador Thomas Pickering and Admiral Mullen? That's the first question, to do this investigation. That's the first question. And secondly, are they 2 really good, aggressive investigators? Because if she picked 2 who were like sort of lightweights, then I'd be suspicious. But did she pick 2 good ones?
Well, she didn't pick them. I think Undersecretary for Management Patrick Kennedy picked them. But I'd like to see the report before judging the personalities. I think, though, you have to look at 2 events here where Secretary Clinton has managed to avoid being out in public. She has said public things about Benghazi, but at 2 critical points, she was unavailable. The first critical point, the famous 5 Sunday talk shows on the 16th of September, 5 days after the attack, Ambassador Rice wrote in the Washington Post last week that Secretary Clinton was unavailable, and I'm quoting, because she'd had a grueling week. And obviously the loss of 4 of her colleagues would be grueling for anybody. But presidents can have pretty grueling weeks, too. You know, Franklin Roosevelt appeared before a joint session of Congress on December the 8th, 1941, to ask for a declaration of war. He had had a pretty grueling day along with the rest of the country on December the 7th. It didn't incapacitate him. And now Secretary Clinton can't testify this week. 2 points don't make a pattern, but they do make a line.
Well, the one thing I just want to add is that I don't understand why the Republicans in the majority in the House of Representatives haven't put feet to the fire and issued subpoenas for everybody they want to talk to. They've had plenty of time, and I wish they would put their feet to the fire, and I would have subpoenaed everybody, but that's just me. Anyway, Ambassador, thank you, sir.
Sounds good to me. Thanks.